welcome, Gabby, Dean. I was so excited to have a chat with you. I always enjoy our conversations, but I thought it was quite fitting to have you to talk about energy products for Isagenix for somebody that exudes so much energy. It probably feel like people would say, why does she need more energy? But I feel like your passion for the products, and obviously you're a great product of the product. You don't just believe in them, you use them religiously, and you're a fan from your experience. So that's why I thought we'd pop you on today and get you to have a chat. So thank you so much for joining us.
No problems. I'm so excited to be here.
And we can't appreciate fully your view at the moment because you are in a absolutely beautiful perspective here. To give us a bit of a turnaround, look at that.
There you go. So I'm
How
sitting right now.
lovely.
It is a gorgeous summer day here in New Zealand, and I've got my ice cold BA to keep me nice and cool. So that's a perfect segue for us.
Perfect. Well, let's start firstly with what's your favorite energy product with Isagenix?
Oh, you can't do that
tough.
to me. I have
start you off with a tough one.
I've got the trifecta here, mate. I've got the trifecta. And that is an extremely hard question to start with, Lockie. Far out. If I was going to a deserted island and I had to choose, it's got to be the E Shot. Honestly, this product came out pretty much just before I started Isagenix. And I was a big coffee drinker back then. I was a big energy drinker. I was drinking V's. I was a corporate worker, so sedentary lifestyle. I relied heavily on coffee. But it was pretty hard on my digestive system and my gut. So I think it's like the caffeine from coffee is really hard on your gut. I can't really, you'd know more about it than me. I think it's quite acidic as well. And, but you need the energy. So you just drink the coffee anyway, even if it tastes super bitter and super acidic, right? We've all had that coffee where we drink it, take that first sip and we regret getting it. And then I found these and they were just delicious. You know, I think it's got apple juice. It's got that natural green tea caffeine. But what I found is that this was more of an alertness and a focus. And it was like a slow release focus and alertness. So whether I was training at the gym, whether I was working 15 hours a day behind the computer, whether I was going for a long drive, this bad boy was never an arm's reach away. I'll say that. And even to this day, 13 years on Isagenix, these are I've got a fridge in my car. That my fridge is stacked with these. My car floor is these all around them. I just absolutely love this bad boy. I think that the combination of the green tea caffeine and the adaptogens is so perfect because you don't get that strain on the nervous system. You don't get the harshness on your gut. It's really gentle and long lasting. And we all need that, especially as a mum. You need long lasting energy. So if I was going to go to a deserted island, I had to pick one. It's got to be the E Shot.
It's an interesting point when you mentioned mum there, because I didn't introduce you as a mum, but I've seen you pre-children and then after children, and your energy hasn't changed, man. I'm sure it's drawn upon you at different times, but you're an amazing example of someone that just stays really energetic. And sometimes you can see people when they are going through having children, it's the energy kind of gets zapped out of them a fair bit because they're always on the go, so many things happening. And that's where you mentioned there, that slow release. So many people are used to that caffeine hit that's like, give it to me now and boom, you're up. But then you've got that crash on the back end of it. And that's the L-theanine, which is the amino acid that's present within that, the green tea especially, where because it's natural, it does build slower, and it will actually then withdraw slower as well too, without so much of that heavy crash. And so a lot of the time when people are thinking caffeine, they're thinking, like maybe I don't want to have too much of it for good reason, because if you've ever OD'd or if you felt like you've OD'd on caffeine, it can be quite an awful feeling, very disorientated and etc. But with this product, because it is so safe and so subtle, yeah, it's not something that you kind of, you're sitting there kind of jittery or anything as such. So yeah, it's a really nice fit, isn't it? But so that's your favorite product. When would you find yourself having the E-shot? When
Yeah, great question. So I'm a gym owner and gym lover. And if I'm going for a cardio day, so if I instruct spin classes, and I find this not only gives me the energy, but the alertness. So I'm instructing spin, I've got songs changing, I'm changing the workout, I'm standing climb, seated climb, I'm always trying to anticipate the next move, the next song to the beat. And honestly, this gives me so much mental clarity, gives me focus, alertness, and I just find I'm just sharper. So I have this before a cardio workout, especially spin class. Whereas if I'm doing like a high rocks workout, a workout where I'm lifting, I'll go for the nitro. So the E-shot I also have like before a long drive, focus, also before school pickup. So come at 3:30, need a bit of an energy kick. I've often got after school sports, got to get the kids here, kids there. I'll go for the E-shot every time. And yeah, I will go to this over coffee any day, any day. I love how transportable it is. So say like we do a lot of fishing out on the boat. We're on the ocean a lot. And I'll be out there and I have an E-shot, just a nice energy kick out there. Man, all day, every day. I cannot rate this product enough. Like, there's a reason that 13 years on, like, this is the main product in my subscription every single month. I love the taste, and it really is, I don't drink alcohol, so if I'm going to a barbecue or a party or something, and I just want a little bit of an energy kick, I'll have one of these. And, I'm in the zone, I've got a bit of a buzz, I'm feeling great. I can still, be last man standing at the party, but no hangover. Get up the next morning if I haven't had even if I don't get a lot of sleep, can have one of these, gives me energy to get through the next day. It really is such an amazing product. Like whoever came up with this, I just am so grateful. I love it so much.
And what happens when you run out? Have you run out in the past? Because it's one of those products, right, where people
Yeah.
lean into it so much that when it gets quite low, they get
Um,
nervous.
yeah, I do because I love it, but I wouldn't say
Yeah,
I'm reliant on it. I
sure.
love the e-shots. I love having them. I love their energy. But if I run out, I'm not like, oh no, I need one, because I think the whole system gives you a great level of natural energy. But I do really, really love these in the mornings. And I mean, it's a hot summer day here. Who wants a hot coffee? Like it's a hot summer day. This fits in your pocket, in your handbag, in your bum bag, way easier than a coffee or an iced coffee. You can literally put this down the bra, take it anywhere. So I love that it's so transportable. I love giving people these as well. It's such a great thing. Like, here, try this. Um, yeah, I cannot rate this enough, man. This is like 20 out of 10 for me.
So then how does the beer fit in to all of this? If the E-shot's something that you like to kind of fit in
Yep.
the gaps as a bit of a kick, you like it pre-cardio, that's sort of what you've worked as, it works for you. How does the beer fit in with your day?
So the
Yes.
BA is like I think it's just an amazing drink for summer. So if I want to sip on something refreshing, this is what I'll go to every single time. This is an amazing, again, to have out on the boat when we're going fishing and you want a nice cold drink, I'll go for this. I have it on my cleanse days. So on a cleanse day when I want to drink something nice and refreshing, and it's got a bit more volume to it, so it does like fill you up a little bit. I think it is what I really love about this is I love being able to say to people, this is an all natural energy drink. And they look at the back and they can see broccoli, carrot, sweet potato, orange, apple, strawberry. They can see all those natural ingredients. And so many people are drinking energy drinks these days. And they look at the back and it's who knows what's in there. It's quite scary. So I love being able to say, try this. This is completely natural. And it gives them a bit of that natural energy. Again, it's got the green tea caffeine. It's slow releasing. And again, it's got the adaptogens. So it's really, again, not harsh on your gut, not harsh on your stomach, not harsh on your nervous system. And it's also got those botanicals to nourish you. So it's like you're having a delicious energy, refreshing energy drink, but it's healthy and good for you. So I would have this definitely on my cleanse days. If I go to the beach, I'll take a cold BEA or a barbecue, something I want to sip on. And yeah, sitting out here on a hot summer's day, doing my work, this gives me focus and clarity. And again, a slow release energy. And I love that it's a real focus. These are also amazing for a car ride. You know, you just want to sip on something nice and cold and refreshing while you're going on a long drive. I love that. And I love mixing it actually with our hydrate. That is my favorite mocktail. Being a non-drinker, I'm all about the mocktails, and I mix the hydrate with hyaluronic acid with this BA, and it is, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. If you haven't tried it, you've got to try it. It's actually hard
I haven't
to
tried it. That'd be nice because obviously with carbonated and makes it a little bit buzzy. I mean, I love the flavor of the hydrate. That's my fave. Yeah, with the hyaluronic acid. That's awesome. And I suppose just opening up on the adaptogen side of things, you mentioned there it's really easy on your gut. I think let's just talk about the adaptogens from a perspective of helping with stress and helping you to sort of get through your day. It's not just about having more energy. These adaptogens will help go to work to get you through stressful times by adapting to your body and enhancing your energy through not letting anything kind of hold you back or weigh you down. And you mentioned there it helps you focus as well too, and that's obviously the caffeine effects is and I think caffeine gets a bit of a bad rap at times, mainly because people think that, okay, well, I don't want to have to rely on the caffeine, which is obviously what we don't want to do. But when you've got other elements within the drink that are also counteracting the effects of stress and helping you move through the day, it's not just giving you a buzz just to get over that hump. It's kind of settling your body and your nervous system to feel a lot more at ease, and then that nice little push of energy to help see you through. So it's got a few different elements there that are gonna have you feeling much better rather than that sort of heavy buzzed effect, particularly a lot of the synthetic caffeine. And you mentioned there this is all natural. The biggest difference though for people out there is that pretty much all of the caffeine that's in like your Red Bulls and your V drinks, etc., is synthetic caffeine, meaning that it's man-made caffeine. So if it says 80 milligrams, which is in the classic amount that might be in a cup of coffee, it's not the same as even drinking coffee. It's actually a lot more potent because it will shoot into your system much faster, and it will drop out of your system much quicker. So that's why you see the people drinking multiple drinks like that throughout the day, just to kind of keep chasing that dragon, to kind of prop themselves up. So it's where it can be a lot better.
That makes a lot of sense because, when I have the E Shots and the BEA, it doesn't impact my sleeping at all. So it's not like a real rush thing where I struggle to get to sleep at night or anything like that. Like even I can even have one at a barbecue and, be absolutely fine. And multitasking. Honestly, like people say all the time, like, how do you manage everything that you manage? Like, how do you think of everything, And I don't, because you're gonna laugh at this, but I don't have a calendar, right? It's all up here. But I managed to, we've got 2 gyms, we've got a roofing company, we've got 4 kids, we've got a lot going on. But I honestly think that it helps with the focus and the clarity and the memory. And it's got to be those adaptogens because I have energy, but I'm clear, I'm sharp. And I think that is a game changer because I know when I was drinking coffee, you'd have this energy, but you'd be a bit scattered. Whereas with these products, you can just tell it's clean, and it must be the synthetic difference because you're sharp. And I just love that, even when I'm presenting, I host a lot of Isagenix events, I can stand up and I can present and be clear and focused and on point. And people are always like, wow, how do you remember all that stuff? And you explain it in such a great way. And I just feel really sharp. And I think that is a big difference between our energy products and the other things out there. It's not overwhelmed, erratic. It's like, boom, I'm on, It's kind of like
not foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
It's working.
I'm sure if you like triple drop, you might be able to get there, but
we don't suggest it.
You could get there if you wanted to. But I think, yeah, I do love the sharpness and the clarity, and I think that the caffeine and the adaptogens, the caffeine gives you that kick, the adaptogens seem to give you that calm and that clarity, and I think it's just a winning combination and something that I love having it every single day.
Well, it might be a nice segue as well too to looking at our pre-workout, our nitro. Now, a lot of the different pre-workouts on the market are pretty much valued on how much of a kick they can give people. Like, I think there's this sort of culture around how much can I actually feel it going to work. And our product's very different to that. You get the effect of what's important during a workout without necessarily, feeling like you're high going into the gym, and I think that's probably one of the biggest difference. What do you love most about this product, Abby?
I love the nitro because I mean we're all pretty educated now on how good creatine is for us. And I believe this has got about 2.5 grams of creatine per serving. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, 3 grams. Three
Yeah,
grams
3
of
grams.
protein per
Yeah.
serving, which is just absolutely amazing. I love knowing I'm getting that every single day. And I love that it does allow me to perform better in the gym, hands down, hands down. Like I run a high rocks workout on a Sunday, and I find that like it's a big workout. It's like 50 minutes to an hour workout. It's an endurance workout. And man, like if I forgot to take my nitro, I definitely am really feeling fatigued, really trying to get to the end of that workout. Whereas if I had my nitro, boom, I'm sharp, I'm on, I get to the end, I'm like, man, I can just keep going. I'm lifting heavier. I see a noticeable difference in my workouts, especially the power and the endurance when I have the nitro. So I just love this for any sort of lifting, endurance, or power workout. I love that it is, again, it's got the green tea caffeine, and it's got, I think it's beta alanine. I actually love that feeling, that little tingling feeling. Sometimes it gives
The
me a little bit
prickly.
of tingles, but not too much. And I love that. It's like I can feel I know it helps with your blood flow, and you can really feel the difference. So I'm a big fan of the nitro. I instruct pump classes. I'll always have it before pump classes before doing any weights workouts. It tastes delicious. I actually, if I'm doing an early morning workout, I will actually mix this the night before and have it like right beside my bed, and ready to go first thing in the morning. Have that, and boom, again, the sharpness, the alertness, the power, the endurance. It really is unmatched. And again, it's I love that it is a more natural pre-workout. Some of the things out there have a lot of really questionable ingredients. So I love being able to say you've got beetroot juice powder in here, you've got lime juice, you've got these awesome stevia leaf for a bit of sweetness. You've got a bit of carbohydrates as well that helps fuel your workout. Yeah, it's got everything you need and nothing that you don't need. No fillers, no weird ingredients in there. So I love that it's approved by Informed for Sport, because that means it's proven to have none of those stimulants in there. It can be used by Olympic athletes, because it's clean. And I love knowing that I'm getting a clean pre-workout in my body, and I definitely feel the difference.
It's an interesting point as well too, and you're associated with the body building comps and doing different shows, etc. in the past. I remember, Gabby, when there was a competitor in one of the natural competitions that we went along to that was tested positive to one of the elements in her pre-workout that she was actually taking at the time. So there's a lot of people don't realize a lot of those pre-workouts that are sold aren't approved even by the natural bodybuilding associations, and they get flagged. I mean, how disappointed would you be if you'd worked all of that time right up into then, and it's just one little tiny element in a pre-workout that's caused you to have a positive reading? I just think that that'd be just so heartbreaking. And a lot of people they're not doing it because they're trying to cheat. In a lot of ways, I'm pretty sure that smallest amount of whatever element that was in the pre-workout's not going to make a massive difference to the person's performance per se. But because these aren't approved, that could be something devastating to somebody that was an athlete in a controlled drug environment. So, yeah. But yeah, do you get
Absolutely.
tested obviously with your comps? Do they do much in the way of the testing?
I didn't myself, but I think
Yeah.
it's a more of a randomized thing.
Yeah.
I didn't tested myself, but I know
Mm.
that
Yeah,
it's
you
literally
can breathe
tested.
easy.
Yeah, I can breathe easier. It's no worries. And I loved it because when I was training for fitness comps, even my coaches that weren't really on board with Isagenix, didn't really understand it. They were really blown away by my ability to build lean muscle and drop
Mm.
body fat simultaneously. So typically in bodybuilding, you're either bulking, putting on muscle, or you're cutting, you're shedding fat. But I find with the Isagenix system, you can do them both simultaneously,
Mm.
and feel great along the way. That's the key. Like you're feeling
That's a
amazing.
big difference, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah,
there bouncing around at a comp, and
yeah,
everyone's sort of feeling like the walking wounded.
absolutely.
There's a concept in bodybuilding that I've never agreed with, that I've always sort of pushed against. And I think Isagenix really supports this. In bodybuilding, they often say when you're looking your best, you're often feeling your worst. Because they're really sort of promoting, you're pulling everything out of your diet, you're getting propped up by different, stimulants and whatnot. And you're there, you're present, but you probably don't even remember your comp because you're just so lightheaded, etc. Whereas you'll find that building muscle and burning body fat is made possible by being able to get the body to work more efficiently and obviously use your natural energy sources, and everything's nice and calm. So you'd probably really enjoy the comps. That's probably why you've done a few, right?
Absolutely. I'm having a blast. I'm bouncing around. I'm having E shots. I just, because, yeah, a lot of people in the fitness industry, they just haven't looked into Isagenix. They don't understand it. And so
Mm,
they're naturally skeptical. They see it as potentially just a weight loss system or a low calorie shake. They compare it to other shakes and other systems, which we know that Isagenix is completely different and based on completely different concepts. So, yeah, when I was getting coached in fitness comps, I was just getting them to measure my progress. And I was doing my own nutrition plans using Isagenix and clean eating together. And they were
mm.
always really blown away by my ability to build muscle and drop fat at the same time. And yeah, I absolutely credit that to the product. I just think it's so cool. And having the
But I
energy and
love
feeling
that.
great.
Yeah. But I love how you tend to prove down any avenue that people have a concern with is, well, you probably won't be able to compete with that sort of thing. It might be good for this population. So you grab it and you compete with it and say, well, what do you think? Like
Absolutely.
it's, yeah, it's,
And being a gym owner now myself, I see the difference in people using Isagenix that don't. The difference is night and day. They're
mm,
recovering faster. They are, excited. They have their e-shot before the class and they're having their scoop of nitro and they're smashing their workout and feeling great. They're recovering fast, whereas the ones that don't are like, oh, I'm sore and, may take longer to get back in the gym. I think the recovery time is really great. I don't know if that's a credit to the nitro or not. You'd be able to tell me, but I swear people recover way faster from their workouts. And I
mm,
think that yeah, the system's got a lot to do with that. I guess there'd be the BCAAs in our shakes and the
mm.
nitro. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, combination of, yeah, all of the above. And obviously creatine has a marked effect on a lot of that as well too. And especially being able to build, I mean, creatine, if we look at it from an energy perspective, I mean, we get energy from eating direct energy, but we also get energy from the body becoming more efficient. And a lot of our products are geared towards having the body work more efficiently, so as that then, yes, we're going to have more energy because everything's going to be absorbing quicker, being produced quicker, etc. And the energy that you get from creatine is not a calorie energy, it is the efficiency of the energy being made available for when you're doing those big power type workouts and strength workouts that you mentioned. So yeah, it's obviously complex, but I love how you simplify it in the way that you go about it. You just put it to work, and you should
Mm.
just watch me. Just
Yeah,
just watch me. And I think it's a
yeah,
really good way of being able to put it to other people as well too. And we often say this, we said just give it a try. Just try it, see how it fits with your body, because you know you. And it's important that you put these into your body and see how you go. And especially if someone's used to training, I often say to people, like, even if they're starting with Isagenix, particularly, I say that if you're starting off with a 30-day system and, hey, you're doing some training a little bit later on, layer in something like a nitro pre-workout after maybe you've been doing some training, and you might be able to then sort of see the difference between, okay, this is me before I've had nitro, this is me after nitro. And so when we say you've got greater performance in the session, you'll see what we mean. It's not just an alertness. It's not just a buzz. It's, hey, look, the weight that I was lifting last week, hey, I'm pushing that through quite easily now. I'm having to put those pins up a bit. Or the recovery that I experienced on, when I first got started, where I was kind of lagging and sort of dragging the chain. Now I'm recouping a lot quicker. So this is a lot of the thing where, and I found particularly as I get on in my years, I'm not going to suggest it's getting older, but it's just more as we progress through life, these things become so much more important too. It's almost like you become a lot more sensitive to it. So you know as well that if you are having it, that you're doing the best you possibly can to make all of that work efficiently. If you're not, it doesn't take long for those things to start to creep up, and you really start to feel signs of, whether it's overtraining, under-eating, tiredness, fatigue, all those sorts of things. So yeah, you're kind of covering your bases with all elements here when you're on the system. So awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I find the recovery is really next level. So this year, as a 40-year-old woman, I decided to start playing rugby, and it's a very physical game, like full tackle women's rugby. And just my recovery was out the gate. Like we played every Sunday. So the men's play Saturday, the women's play rugby, women's play on Sunday. And we would train on a Monday, Wednesday, because the guys train Tuesday, Thursday. So, we're swapping with the kids. And Monday, everyone was so sore. They were like, let's just talk about the game. They were like, could not do any physical training. I was like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm fine. And I found that's a huge change. And I always took my nitro. Actually, before rugby, I would take, that's when I would actually take nitro and potentially an E-shot together. I'd take this before the game, and even maybe halfway through the game, I might take this because 80 minutes, so it's a long physical game. And funny story, like they started me in the backs because I'm quite petite, but I had too much energy. I wanted to get in the scrums and get in the tackling, so they made me open side flanker so I could just be everywhere. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And my recovery was just insane. And I've never been, like, I guess, in a situation where my recovery is directly, there's 15 of us on the field. It's directly, you could just see the differences night and day. And I ended up getting Rookie of the Year because they were just like, oh my gosh, like your energy and your recovery I was just always there, And often Monday, a lot of the girls are pulling out of training or just, let's just talk about the game. And it was incredible. And I guess it's funny because as I go on through life and becoming a mom and, opening gym and playing rugby, and I play touch, I've always got battle wounds from sports. Last night dived in touch, but as like a 40-year-old mom, I honestly feel like so powerful and unstoppable in my body. I competed in High Rocks for my 40th birthday, and I feel like as the years go on, it's like the longer I'm using these products and the new products that come out and the nitro and the BA, like everything's just I feel like getting superhuman powers as the years go on. I feel stronger and more confident in my body at 40 than ever before in my life. And I think that is just so cool, and I always encourage anyone I talk to, like I even just say, don't listen to me. Put these products in your body and you make up your own mind. Don't trust me. Trust your body to tell you how you feel. Also getting a new security system installed in the new gym yesterday, and I was like, hey, try a BEA. And then that was yesterday. I went back and saw him today, and he's like, man, where can I get more of that drink? I just felt so sharp and good and alive, and like it's just so cool because these products have an instant effect. Like they really do. They work so fast. And I think because so clean. They're working with your body and with your gut, and so just natural and beautiful that you do notice the difference straight away. And that's why I just love telling people, try for 30 days. Don't trust me, trust your own body. And yeah, people always come back like, oh my goodness, like these products are for real. And that's when I got started, I didn't understand what was in the product. I didn't really research. I just thought I'm going to put this to the test myself, my body. And then once I got my energy and dropped that body fat and started building muscle, I was like, okay, what's in these? And then I really went to work trying to understand the ingredients and what made this so much more powerful than my clean eating. Because I was clean eating and exercising. I was chicken breast, broccoli, brown rice, smelly containers, carrying them everywhere with me. I was living that life and doing great. But I could never go to that next level. And yeah, it was after my first, I think I've been doing Isagenix about 4 or 5 months, I did my first fitness comp because I never ever could go to that next level. And jumping on the products, I did like 4 30-day cleanses in a row and I was stage ready. I was like, this is freaking awesome. And you know what I think? I think now that I look back, my cortisol levels were really high. I was in a stressful job and I could not shift that little muffin top. It wasn't a bad muffin top. It wasn't major, but it was like a little spare tire. And I couldn't shift it. And that is the first physical thing that went for me. And I was like, wow, that's got to be cortisol. And it's funny because when I look back, like my face was like this. And I think that was like from cortisol and stress and adrenals. And I really think the adaptogens really, really helped me get to the next stage in my fitness and brought my cortisol levels down, maybe soothed my adrenals. I really think the adaptogens had a big part to play in taking me to the next level because I was already clean eating and exercising. I was already lifting. I was already doing all those things. But I couldn't seem to shift those numbers. And even now, we do 8-week challenges at the gym and we do the body scanners. And it's great. It shows your lean muscle, shows your visceral fat, and my visceral fat is like that of a baby. It's like 0.1. It's like so low. That's got to be the cleansing. But it's really cool because it shows you can see like my lean muscle, even as a woman in my 40s, is still going up every single time.
Yeah, good.
And
great.
My biological age is going down. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, yeah. So I choose to identify as my biological age. So I'm 33.
Good.
So
it works.
It's so cool because, think about it. 40-year-old women, typically you think, okay, hormones, collagen's starting to decline, you think these things are going to happen. But I honestly think with the support of these amazing, the whole system, you have total control. I just love that.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Gabby. You're such a gift, and we're so lucky to have you on board with Isagenix and paving the way. I know that you're such a wonderful advocate, and thank you so much for your time. I'm sure that people would learn so much from you, just your habits. And like you said, if you're caught with whether or not you should be trying, if any or all of these products, just know that it's all about how you feel. It's not about comparing. It's about putting it into your body and see how that affects you every day. So thank you so much, Gabby. Appreciate you.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on here. I can talk about these products all day, every day. Thanks, Lockie.